In Chapter 3, we're going to talk about the communication system. In the previous chapters, we talked about what is communication. Now we're going to talk about what are systems, therefore combining our communication systems. So to start, what is a system? How would we define a system? Well, a basic definition for a system is a number of parts that work together to accomplish a goal. Fairly simple, but yet systems can be very complex. If you think about a network system, there are a great many number of parts that work together to accomplish the connection of that network. Systems are incredibly important today. We use them every day in our society, in business, and in industry. And people who can see a system, understand a system, and more importantly, make systems work more efficiently can be very successful in our society. So understanding systems is really important. So when we talk about systems, we talk about two different types of systems. First, we have a natural system. A natural system, as it applies, are just different systems that are created in our natural world. So for example, the solar system. It is a number of planets that work together in a particular way. Now, whether or not they accomplish a goal, you could argue, but nonetheless, they are a system. We have a variety of systems in our body. We have our respiratory system that allows us to breathe, and it's a number of parts that work together to allow us to breathe. So there are all kinds of different systems that are a part of our natural world, and they all fall under the natural system. Then we also have devised system, and devised systems are systems that are man-made, produced by man, organized by man, controlled by man. Now they may use natural products, but they are devised by man. So think about an irrigation system. Even the early days of using canals in the irrigation, though we were using water and land to accomplish the task, it still is a devised system because man was producing it and putting it together. But there's so many different types of device systems today using technology, from different types of networks, electronic systems, even transportation systems. There's just a lot of systems out there. So in general, we can use what's called the systems model to understand a system. And the system model breaks the system down into 4 different areas. We first have the inputs. And these are the components going into the system. Then we have the processes, where whatever has been put into the system is modified, manufactured, produced, or changed in some way. And through that change process, we create outputs. And so what is the product? What is the purpose? What goal is being accomplished through this system? That would fall under the outputs. And then we also have a feedback loop in our system. And as we'll continue to talk about this semester, the feedback loop is incredibly important. In order to have a good system, there needs to be a feedback in place to make sure that system is working accordingly. Now again, there are all kinds of different systems out there, such as I mentioned, the transportation system. In this particular class, again, this is communication systems, we're going to be focusing on the communication system. So in that case, we have a communication system model that's more specific for communication. But it has the same categories. We have inputs, we have processes, we have outputs, and then we would like to see and should have a feedback arena as well. In the process area, we have a variety of processes that can go through, such as encoding, transmitting, channel, receive, decode, and here is our feedback in this case. So to break that down in a little more detail, we have our different areas here. So to start, we have encoding. Again, communication is for the purpose of sending and receiving a particular message. So in the encoding process, we prepare the message to be sent. And depending on the type of message being sent, this can happen in a lot of different ways. Let's just go ahead and use a phone analogy. If we're talking on the phone as an analogy to understand this system process. So first of all, the encoding process would be me talking into the phone, and within the phone is going to be a microphone. That microphone is going to convert my audio, my verbal sound, into electronic signal that can be sent. And so the encoding process is changing the audio sound to an electronic signal. Next we have transmitting. This is placing a message on a channel, and so in this case this would be those electronic information then would be placed on the channel, and that could be, if I was using a landline, that's going to be the telephone line. If I was using a cell phone, the channel would actually be the air. Then we have the receiving process, and this is where we take the message from the channel. So at the other end, whoever I'm talking to has their phone, and that phone is going to take that electronic signal and take it from the channel into the phone. And then next we have the decoding process, which makes the message understandable. So on that other phone is going to be a speaker that's going to take the electrical signal and convert that into a sound that the other person can hear. At the other end, then the person is going to store and retrieve it. That would be within their brain as they listen, and then you're going to have some kind of feedback. So for example, if I say something over the phone and the other person says, "What? I didn't hear you," that would be my feedback that communication didn't happen. Or if they continue the conversation as normal, that's my feedback that the message was received. And you can see how this process goes into place. All of these areas go into place on a continual basis, even with a simple phone call. There's a continual process of encoding, transmitting, receiving, decoding, storing, and feedback. But these areas are important to look at when designing a system, when analyzing a system, trying to make a system more efficient, or just coming up with it brand new. We have to think about all of these different processes and make sure that we have the processes, the technology in place to make it an effective and efficient system. So Chapter 3 dealt with all about systems and understanding systems, and we have a basic systems model that we can use, including the input, processes, output, and feedback. And then specifically for communication systems, we have a model that we can use that breaks down the processes into specific areas.